Chuck Yeager was the first person to break the sound barrier, and I'm here with his wife, Victoria. So, Mrs. Yeager, could you tell us a little bit about who Chuck was and about your new book?
Thank you, John. So, General Yeager is well known for breaking the sound barrier, but what people don't realize, because they've seen the right stuff, they think he just came up on a horse and saw the X-1, jumped in and broke the sound barrier. I can tell you that's not how it happened. So on his 7th powered flight, he got very close to Mach 1, and he turned, pulled more G's, which simulated what would be straight and level,
yes,
faster speed. And he lost control of the elevator, so he couldn't do pitch. He came down and he said to his flight engineer, Jack, we're toast. We can't do it. We can't do what the old man sent us out to do because I lost control. The shockwave was laying down right on that hinge.
I see.
So Jack thought about it, remembered there was a manual switch, and so he could manually just change the horizontal stabilizer, the angle of incidence. And so he said, go ahead and try that. You think you can do it? I'll try it. So he did. He went up and he pulled those G's by turning, and he manually, now remember, he's shaking all over the place while he's getting close to Mach 1, and he changes it, and he's okay. And he came down and he said, I think we got this made. That was on a Friday.
All right.
That weekend, they were supposed to go to Glennis's hometown and visit with their parents, visit with friends, but Glennis was pregnant and didn't feel very good.
I see.
So they stayed back, and then Sunday, they went to Poncho's to have some dinner, and after dinner, they decided, because they're a competitive bunch, they decided to go horse out in the horses, and on the way back, they raced back, and somebody had closed the gate. And so Chuck was in front, and his horse pulled 5 G's doing a turn to miss that gate, and Chuck kept going. And the next day he didn't feel so good, and they went to the vet. They couldn't go to the flight surgeon because he'd be grounded, and he had 2 or 3 broken ribs, broken shoulder, and the vet taped him up and said, don't do nothing strenuous. And he went to Jack Ridley and said, I'm not going to be able to close the hatch with my right side. So Jack went in, this engineer went in and got the end of a broomstick, cut it off, and put it in the cockpit, and Chuck tried it on the ground, and they said, I think I can do it. So they went up in the air. This was on the Tuesday, and there's an elevator that takes you down to get into the X-1.
Okay.
And he gets in, and then Jack Ridley lowers the door, and Chuck was able to use the broom handle and close it up. And then they take off, and he's dropped from the B-29. He was always dropped in a stall, and they always dropped him. The guy, Bob Cardenas, who was flying the B-29, would count backwards. It would always lose a number.
Yes.
And it wasn't always the same number. So it'd be 10, 9, 7, 5, 4, 3, or it'd be 10, 9, 7, 8. Anyway, he'd do it all completely wrong, so Chuck wasn't sure when he was going to be dropped, but always in a stall. So he of course, point down, and then he'd take off, light all 4 chambers, and then he said, this Machmeter is really screwy.
Oh, no.
And that was the code for, we've done it.
Mach 1.
Yeah. So that's the story. So it's much bigger deal than just running up and getting in there and taking off. And so
amazing.
Yeah, for a time they thought they weren't going to be able to do it. It's pretty. But anyway, in the book, so after Chuck passed away, I spent a little bit of time writing this new book, which was really his words. So it's I say the authors are Chuck Yeager and me, and it's 101 Chuck YEAGER-isms. It's really 131. It's a big fat lie, 131, but that wasn't a good title. 101 Chuck YEAGER-isms was better.
Fair enough.
And so one of them is first time he saw a jet, he shot it down. That's during World War II, and it was on vinyl, and it had its gear down. And so when he would tell the story, it had its gear down, and it was on vinyl going more slowly. He'd say, unsportsmanlike, but what the hell?
Yes. Yeah, the German jet blow up.
And he had other sayings like, arrogant pilots will get you killed, confident ones will make history.
Yes.
And then he was so humble, he said, the way to become a legend is just live longer. So he had a few of those like that.
I get that.
Yeah, and he also was pretty clear, because a lot of people would say there'd be a natural-born pilot. He said, there ain't no natural-born pilots. It takes hard work.
Absolutely.
So trying to encourage people in life, not just piloting, to work hard to get what you want.
Absolutely,
So there's a lot more to a lot more isms. And so far, everybody's loved the book so far, and
That's
it's
great.
gotten great reviews, and so I'm kind of thrilled about it.
That's great. Yeah, definitely go out and buy that book.
Yeah.
It will be very cool.
Go to therightstuffstore.com, and you can order it there, or you can email me at editor@chuckyeager.com, and that way you can get it signed. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
no problem. I appreciate it.
Nice
Appreciate your
talking
time.
to you, John.
Thank you so much.